Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Healing Waters Podcast. It's the fourth episode. It's Love's Misunderstandings. And for those of you who are new, who have just tuned into the channel, please go back and read the poems. Okay, so these are overviews of the poems that are written. You will see Healing Waters. You see chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Wherever you are, go back and just recap, read the poems. I don't read the poems in the podcast. This is just going over line for line what each line means. Just explaining more in depth. And for those of you who are just new as well, this channel, this particular book is a personal account of what I went through pertaining to abusive relationships, abusive friendships, things of that nature, manipulative relationships. And, I just wrote out my experiences. And throughout the process, I did receive healing from the Lord. I would say this because for those of you who don't believe, this book is about how I received healing through God's hands, right? But if you want to purchase the book, it is on Amazon. The link is in the description. So please go purchase the book. Once again, it's called Healing Waters. So let's get started. Love's Misunderstandings. Love is patient. Yes. Love is patient, right? A loving individual is a patient individual. Patience is a virtue. It really, really is. I feel like God constantly is working on my patience. He's constantly working on our patience in the midst of whatever we're going through. Love is kind, they say. So I wrote this from the perspective of, well, they say that love is patient and love is kind, but I'm not receiving that. I don't see that. So do I have a misunderstanding of love? Wrapped with the cherry on top is a gift made just for me. So yeah, love is for me. Love is created for me to indulge in too, right? Hidden, a lost package. Now, mind you, in this particular season or chapter of my life, I was actually tiptoeing back and forth okay, love is this, and this is the definition of love. But why is it so hidden and lost, and why is it so hard for me to attain? What's happening here? It remains hidden in the deep wells of stone. So yes, literally I was in a space in my life where it's I don't know where it is. I can't find it. It's far away, and even if I do find it, it's trapped in this stone, and I can't get it out. And it's forever frozen, and I can't get to it. I can't touch it. I can't feel it, right? Lurking but never pouncing. Once again, I'm seesawing. It's I'm having these glimpses of, even on that external sense, having these glimpses of okay, I'm seeing love in the midst of other things, right? People in love and relationships. You could even be out and about, and it's okay, why do they get that and I get this? Why do they get love and I get abused? Why do they get love and I get mocked? Why do they get love and I get abuse? Why do they get love and evilness and wickedness is happening to me? So it's there, and it's pouncing around me, but I can't touch it and I can't feel it once again. It dwells amidst the shadows. I remember having a conversation with somebody. There's a particular scripture, and I will put it in the description of this video. It just came up, but so it says now that I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, for a shadow to be casted on something, there has to be light. For you to see a shadow, there has to be light. I repeat, it dwells amidst the shadows. So there's light around me, and there's love around me, but it's it's in the shadows. I can't touch it. If I move a particular way, the shadow would what? It'll disappear, right? Dim yet meek. It's a dim yet meek, meaning it's quiet, it's soft, it's not loud, it's dim. Okay? It lingers and waits for me to seek. So now I'm in a place, sorry guys, now I'm in a place where I have like kind of given up on myself, given up on love. It's lingering around. I can feel bits and pieces of it. And you know, God says seek me. God says seek me. It lingers and waits for me to feel. So the presence of God is around me, right? The presence of God is even in the midst of the situation. God is like within my heart, but I like refuse to feel it. Sometimes like, or a lot of times when I was in the midst of like toxic relationships, there would just be such a hopelessness and a guilt and shame like within my heart that I even allowed myself to be in these situations. And I would literally like punish myself from seeking and feeling love. And I don't know why I used to do that, but I used to punish myself. If only I would remind myself that it freely roams. It's free. I don't have to pay for love, right? I don't have to bargain for love. I don't have to chase love. It's right there. Waiting for me to grasp. It's waiting for me, right? It's right there in front of me. Like, it's waiting for me to just grab a hold of it. I can't release myself from these burden chains of lies. So this is literally like, I am in this relationship and this man, it could be a man or woman. It's like, and I can do it from you guys' perspective. It's telling you like, this is love, this is love, this is love. But your spirit is not in agreement with it. No, it's not. No, it's not. And no, it's not. This is not love. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is like, this is an illusion of love. If this is like, even in a lot of like domestic violence situations, there could be like a fatal attraction type scenario going on as well. Like there's like an obsession rather than a pure, unadulterated love. Drifting on their promises, my heart is deceived and tired. I'm drifting on promises that, and I say this again, you could be in the midst of a relationship where a person is abusing you and a person is mistreating you and they keep saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I will stop. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, have mercy on me. Have pity on me. I know you have a compassionate heart. So just understand this. I'm just like trying to get through. And like I said in previous videos, it's okay to have a compassionate heart and it's okay to be forgiven. But if you do not have any boundaries in the midst of those things, people will manipulate you. You have to have some foundation. It has to be there. There has to be a cap. There has to be a level of there has to be like a cap. There has to be a level where no one can cross. Like if someone crosses that level, then you're just ending it. You have to have some like morals, values, and ethics embedded within your heart to protect you from these type of individuals. And like I said, you can have compassion and forgiveness all day. I believe in compassion. I believe in forgiveness. Forgiving those who've wronged us. I so do believe in that. But then we don't want to get to a point where we're just allowing it. Right? We're not saying anything about it. We're just allowing it. And then it starts to fester. It becomes worse. And a lot of times why in a lot of these relationships, it'll get worse. It just gets worse. It just wax worse. There's like a Bible scripture that talks about it just wax worse. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't get better. And then it says, my heart is deceived and tired, intertwined with grief and sorrow. And I say grief because you could have been in these like toxic type of like cycles, right? But then there was like bits and moments of your life where you really experienced love and you're like grieving. You're longing for it. And then you're sorrowed because you've allowed yourself to be in a situation that or with a person that like adds no type of abundance onto you, a person that does not pour into you. So you are sorrowed. Not only are you sorrowed for that, you feel like guilt and shame. Like, how did I allow myself to get in the midst? How did I allow myself to get here? Like, what's wrong with me? You know, I know, like, if you like ask yourself those questions, like those self-reflective questions, I feel like those questions are very important, because like if you could figure out like why you have allowed yourself to like stay here and be here and get to the root of the problem, a lot of times it has to do with like fear. It has to do with abandonment issues. It has to do with those like deep childhood wound scars and trauma that have gone unhealed for so many years that it is like become a part of you. You could have or be in this like victim mentality and this self-pity where you believe that you are not good enough for anyone else. Okay? You have received these words of because it's evil, you know, verbal abuse. You have received them into your spirit, right? And you need to release those. You need to break down those strongholds. You need to speak over those like inner voices, whether those inner voices are coming from those in your past or even present who have hurt you, or your current partner. Do not receive abusive, manipulative words from people. If you're in an unsafe situation and somebody says something like so crazy to you, like you need to rebuke it in your spirit. If you feel like you're not safe enough to say it out loud, rebuke it in your spirit. Like, I'm not going to receive that. I'm not receiving that. That's not true. That's not who God made me to be. Like, we need to start breaking down those, because there are strongholds. Like, words have power. And what has happened is you've received those words, right? And a lot of times they're being manifested in like your behavior, whether that's like low self-esteem, low motivation, procrastination, things of that nature. So you're replaying those like narratives over and over again in your head. It starts with a thought, and those thoughts will like manifest into actions. So if all you're hearing is you're lazy, you're a bum, you know what I mean? You're not worth anything. You're going to start to believe that. If you receive that into your spirit, you start to believe it, right? You believe it, and then like it's manifested in your actions. So now you said you're a bum, you're lazy. Now you're like having trouble like getting housework done, doing simple things. Like you feel super depressed. You're like, where is this coming from? It started with a word, right? It says, false representations of love become reality. So once again, you know this person does not love you. You know this is an illusion of love, but this is your reality, and like you have accepted it. Like, this is what I get. This is the cup of tea that I get. This is what God gave me. So now you're in this, like you feel stuck. Like you can't move forward. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to turn because you've accepted it. Once you start to accept your situation, right? And you see, like, you see no way out, you stay there. Now you have become comfortable there. Right? And then it says, I tear at my heart. Mariah, please go inside. I tear at my heart. And so now we speak about like, and please shut the door, Mariah. I'm so sorry, guys. It says, I tear at my heart. So you're very compassionate, right? You want to help this person. You want to believe that this person can change, right? And a lot of times you have ignored the fruit. You have ignored, it says like pay attention to the fruit that people expel outwardly, because the fruit that people expel outwardly is what's in their heart. Right? And we have to understand that. It's like we want to change somebody's, like, people say, I want to change their behavior. It's deeper than that. This is what's in this man's heart. The only thing that can change a man's heart is God. I'm sorry, that is a spiritual issue. That's a spiritual issue that you're not equipped to deal with, especially if it is painted with more hurt and trauma and things that they're going through. They're insecure as well. Like, it's like, help yourself. right? It says, oh, how I was fooled. I'm speaking for those who are in relationships or you literally like felt like you were fooled. You started the relationship off, this guy, he love bombed you, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I so love him. He's like the man of my dreams. And a lot of times, and a lot of people don't even understand it, a lot of like manipulative individuals can mirror you. That's why they have conversation with you. They talk with you. They're like studying you. And so when they're studying you, they like become the fantasy that you are, or the thing that you want. They're really, really good at it. You have to be really careful with individuals these days, okay? Tricked and deceived. It's like, you tricked me. You deceived me. You painted this narrative, right, in the midst of a lie. So you became this man that I want, right? But it's a lie. Had you not become this man that I wanted you to become, I would not be here. Forever untrusting. So now you get into a space where it's like, I don't trust anybody. I'm done. I'm done trusting everybody. If this can happen to me, if I can fall into this pit, I'm done trusting. I'm done. Like, you start to not even trust your own self. Like, you start to not trust your own decisions. And it's like, what do I do? If I can't trust my own thoughts, if I can't trust my own decisions, where do I go from here? I hide myself from the world again without guarding my heart, because you've been through a lot. You are you are drained emotionally, physically, spiritually. You're drained. You don't even have the energy to guard your heart. You don't have the energy to, guys. It's like, oh my goodness, how did I get here? Whew. That was a heavy one, y'all. Love's Misunderstandings. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for more coming soon. But yeah, guys, for those of you who are like watching this video, if you're like in an abusive relationship, like, I'll be praying for you. God bless you. Don't lose hope in the midst of whatever you're going through. Seek help, seek support. But yes, I know what you're going through. I understand what you're going through, and it is possible for you to get out of this situation. It's possible, okay? Whatever this person is telling you about, your incapacity to walk in like brighter paths and lights, it's not true. You have gifts, talents, and things within you that God has put inside of you that like you will express one day. But right now, I just want you to focus on getting into those safe spaces, right? So that you can heal in a more appropriate space, okay? God bless you. And tune into the next, the next video, the next podcast, I would say. Bye, guys.